Devonport Camera Club. Projected images 5 results. Wednesday the 17th of August 2022. Helen Walker MPSA. Helen is a recognised artist and an experienced national and international photography judge. She is a passionate nature photographer with strong interests in monochrome and creative photography. Having travelled extensively, she believes the key to great photography is the ability to capture that decisive moment in a wonderful, distinctive light. Helen enjoys the creative outlet that photography allows her when judging. She looks for the personal vision that each photographer brings to their work. Helen's overall comment for open colour images. Thank you for allowing me to admire your images. It was clear many photographers had spent time thinking about their composition, and it was a real pleasure to judge your work. When judging, I consider the subject, all the usual photographic elements, and most importantly, the story. I have made what seems to be lots of cropping suggestions. They are just suggestions, but I do ask of you that you try them out, and while you are doing that, play with other possible crops. When capturing and processing images, cropping is your best friend. It allows you to frame the action to its best advantage. It enables you to remove distractions by cutting them out of the image and choose how close objects are to the borders of the frame. It helps you refine your composition. Experiment with cropping. You can't go wrong. And you'll be surprised the effect different crops make to an image. I always crop for the best image and not necessarily the size specified in the competition or on the website. Finally, watch your borders. The last thing I do when processing for open and mono competitions is to check my borders for distractions. I check them and I remove them, especially those small objects half in or half out of frame. Again, thank you. I love the diversity of your images. Dappled light. I am sure this was an amazing view. However, I think you need to be gentler in your processing. I can see chromatic fringing in the sky in the top right-hand corner. The saturation levels appear high and the sharpening a little overdone. No award. Fun transport. You have chosen a good depth of field for the image. But if you want people to really look at your subject, you need to crop in closer to it. I would think about cropping off most of the pavement in front of the bikes and as much of the overblown sky as I could. The width of your image is good. It gives room in front of the bikes and the leading lines of the road draw the eye along the row of bikes. You could try a curbs or level layer to help you recover some of the sky. No award. Aren't I just? Yes, he is just. Great detail in the feathers, sharp eye and pleasing surrounds. Consider cropping the land at the top, as I feel it does not add to the composition. And acceptance. Callie. This is a delightful image, but your processing has not shown the horse to best effect. Please be careful of sharpening halos developing. The light on the horse is beautiful and shows up the texture really well. And acceptance. Family dinner. Love the name. Sometimes I feel less is more. In this case, I would play with the crop. Try cropping below the bird's feet so that you allow your viewers to really concentrate on the feeding birds. Include some of the first bird's reflection, but none of the other bird's reflection. Try taking some off the top as you go from darkish area across the top and then back into light. I know this is just how the water is, but if you crop so it is just dark above the birds, it will again concentrate the viewer's eye onto the birds. Be careful of sharpening halos. And acceptance. Listen to this, Grandad. This is a nice moment caught, and I like the look on the child's face. Your eye contact is perfect. To improve the presentation of the image, I would remove the orange triangle at the bottom right-hand side of the boy and make that area match the black behind him. The white spot on the boy's shoulder should also be removed. If you have the information, I would also add a little to the left-hand side so that the fingers are not so close to the edge of the image. And acceptance. Magpie lark. This is an excellent capture. Details are sharp with great light and colour. The reflection is not so crisp and distracts from the overall effect. I would crop so only the bottom of the reflected bird's legs can be seen. I would also crop at the top of the image, as the empty water does not help the image. Maybe try flipping the image. That way, the land acts to draw your eye to the bird, and the darker shadow area would help keep the viewer's eye in the frame. This is a lovely image of the magpie, and I would play around with it. And acceptance. Meet Miss P. Miss P is lovely. The colours work well, excellent depth of field, and great sharpness and definition where required. Everyone who knows Miss P will love this image. If, however, I was entering this image into a competition where no one knows her, I would flip the image horizontally. The viewer would be more welcomed into the image when the open side of the image is on the left-hand side. Their eyes would go to the lovely eyes of the little girl and then continue exploring the image. As an added bonus, the red wall would then block the eye from leaving the image. I am not sure if you have played around with the outer edge of the hair, but it does not look natural in places. And acceptance. Melting Rubik's Cube. I like this creative, and as far as it goes, it is excellent. To make it not so static, mix the colours melting into each other. Make me believe this cube is really melting. Where the green melts from the side, it should go all the way to the red corner, and the colours can then run over each other. The yellow can go down the sides and mix with the other colours. At the moment, it looks very staged. With a little bit of play, you can really lift the creativity and the believability of the image. And acceptance. No flights. An interesting, almost empty street scene. Everything is clear and sharp. Your timing is good. A person walking through and dressed in bright yellow. I would clone out the bright spot near the lower left-hand side. It only acts to distract. And acceptance. Offshore breeze 2127. Love the strong waves, their shape, colour and movement. They are the hero of this image, and if it was my image, I would really crop close to the waves and those great rocks with seaweed. A great moment caught, well captured, and acceptance. School holiday fun. A nice quick street grab and well caught. A higher shutter speed would have improved your capture, but at these times you are just lucky to get what you get. When I have my camera in the street, I always have it set to AV and on a fairly high shutter speed, so when something exciting happens, I can capture it. And acceptance. Sherman. I understand why you took this portrait. Great textures, great eye contact, and a great simple background. I like the hair caught on the left-hand side horn. Please be very careful in your processing. You have sharpening halos around the horns and near the ends of his coat hair. And acceptance. Spiky Bridge 4. Wow, this place is interesting, but the light has not been kind to you. If possible, please go back when the sky is blue. I always have my camera set on auto for white balance because I can fix it in post-processing and therefore have few problems with overblown skies. And acceptance. The old house is still standing. The lovely textures really make this image. I would have liked to see more of the building. That chimney is a standout. Please be careful of sharpening halos between the house and the sky. And acceptance. The rose. The rose is beautiful and acts well as the central focus. The top bud is too close to the edge of the image and is very distracting. As the stem of this bud goes out of the depth of field close to the rose, it would be very easy to crop it out of the image. This would make the image more panoramic and much stronger. I would also crop out the floating leaf structure near the lower left-hand corner. This would simplify and again strengthen the image. And acceptance. A lovely muted palette and moody landscape. I would play around with the crop, making it a more panoramic view. I would cut the image just underneath the foreground plant, removing the shadow of the plant, which is a distraction. Over on the right-hand side, I would simplify the image by cloning out the separate gravel bits in the water. Well taken. Highly commended. Cradle Mountain. A wonderful shot of Cradle Mountain. I have been there many times, but never seen it so clear. I would play around with the crop. I feel the bottom section of the bush could be removed. Crop so the mountain is framed at the bottom by the two green bushes. This will add symmetry and focus your viewer's eye onto that wonderful scene. Highly commended. Enjoying the spoils. This is a well-captured street scene. The strong light on the people and the window adds interest to the image. Your crop is effective, with the lady seemingly eavesdropping on her customers. Well seen. Highly commended. Melbourne Patisserie. This is a great window. I wish it was a window near me. Taking images through glass is difficult, and you have done very well. The glass shelves give you leading lines the eye can follow to the sweet treats. Highly commended. Mist on the Tamar. Your composition of boats, birds and mist is beautiful. The water birds and bush add life to the image. To stress the moodiness of the image, I would crop the buildings off the top, leaving as much of the bush as you can. Take a little off the bottom and play around with curves and levels adjustments until you get the moodiness you like. I feel you could make this image into a real showstopper. Try local sharpening of the boats and birds. Congratulations on a lovely composition. Highly commended. The chef's break. The contrast between the chef and the backdrop is interesting. My eye rests on the chef and then wanders around the street art. The side lighting adds interesting shadows and enhances depth within the image. I am pleased you did not crop the head off the flamingo. Well seen. Highly commended. Wind Farm Savage River 1. Well done on a strong, moody, modern landscape. The layers of grass, bush, wind turbines, rain and distant clouds work well together. The colours are very effective. Highly commended. Early morning. What a lovely serene view. It draws the viewer in. The soft, delicate palette works well. The glimpses of life really add to the scene. Maybe crop a little bit off the bottom just to make it a little more panoramic. Congratulations on a beautiful image. A merit. Eastern Spinebill. Fabulous feather detail combined with a simple yet effective background. Congratulations. A merit. Last Rays West Coast. Yes, this is how I remember this area, wild and rich with colour. You have chosen an excellent composition, which has many layers for the viewer's eye to enjoy. My eye travels across the front to the rocks that then point me back to the other side again, up to the horizon, around the sky and back down via the sun rays. I love the clarity and detail within the image. Congratulations. Well seen, well taken and well processed. A merit. Light balls. These light balls have impact. I want to look more closely at them. I like that there are 3 balls, but if you are going to put them into one image, I would try to reduce the surrounding distractions that tell the viewer these light balls were not going on at once. It is easy to do, and I feel it would strengthen your image. In whatever program you are using, make it look like there is only one background for all 3 light balls. Remove the tree behind the yellow-red ball and darken the ground underneath. I would I would not make the background totally black, just dim the divisions between the balls so that they are not as noticeable. And make the light under the balls about the same size and intensity. Great image, congratulations, a merit. Misty morning on the Weir. The layers in this image are amazing. They make the image very three-dimensional. The bird adds life and gives the eye a place to rest. The crop is good, but as this is an open image, you can alter the image as you wish. I would think about removing that thick wedge-type tree trunk in the water behind and up from the bird. It is different from the other trees and acts more as a distraction. I would also clone out that limb that goes out of the bottom of the image. I would just clone it out a little so that you have water along the lower edge. A merit. Mount Sonder sunrise. What a beautiful time of day. The landscape looks amazing. Congratulations on a beautiful image. A merit. Riding. A fabulous action shot and cropped to an appealing frame. A great capture of both the action and the moment and the determination and focus of the subject. His positioning and angles of the arms add to the story. Your point of view adds the excitement and drama of this image. It makes it more impactful and allows your subject to stand out against the sky. The sharpness of the image and your depth of field all work to produce this exciting image. Well done. A merit. River gums. This is a strong landscape and looks almost abstract in parts. The textures all work beautifully together. The layer upon layer highlights the 3D nature of the image and creates even more interest within the image. A merit. Yellow wattlebird. Well caught. I do hope this is a true nature shot. The blurred background is fabulous, as are the kangaroo paw flowers. The stark plant allows the bird to be the outstanding main focus of the image. Congratulations on a great image. If it is an open image, you can improve it by removing the flower head at the bottom right-hand corner and cloning out the flower head near the tail. A merit. Caring. A beautiful image. The composition is well thought out, with the leading lines taking us to the person. The inclusion of the person really makes the image. It allows us to appreciate the size of the silo. Congratulations. Honours. Feeding time. Wow. Love these welcome swallows. You have captured a great family moment. Excellent feather detail, and the wing blur of the parent just adds another dimension to the image. Well done. Honours. Gibson Falls. What a beautiful long exposure. I love that you can see the movement of the water even in the lower areas of the image. This movement adds life to the image, as does the whirlpool to the side. Having the grasses in the foreground flattered also heightens the story. Congratulations on a fine image. My only suggestion is a slight crop to the bottom of the image. If you crop so that the grasses are at the bottom right-hand side corner, you put emphasis on the diagonal implied line across the image, which adds even more movement to the image and stops the viewer's eye going out of the bottom left-hand side of the image. Honours. Green fungi. This is a breathtaking image, delicate and interesting. The many layers add depth and makes the viewer want to spend time enjoying this image. The limited colours work well, as does the lighting. Congratulations. Honours. Silo Reflection Yellowbon. This is a lovely image. I really like the panoramic format and absolute excellent clarity from front to back. Really well handled given the strength of the sunlight. If this is a genuine travel image, I think it would do very well in national, international competitions. There is a small dirt mark near the top edge that should be removed. Congratulations. Honours. Helen's overall comment for monochrome images. I enjoyed judging your mono images. There are some excellent images and a lot of potentially great images. Impactful mono images need blacks, whites, and a good tonal range. As we usually create mono images by converting from colour, the colour file must also have a good tonal range. This is because when colour is removed, the tones alone must create the mood and impact in the mono images. Flat lighting is one of the biggest problems with mono images. One easy way to get wow lighting is to go out and take photos at the edge of daylight, early morning or late afternoon. You will be surprised and delighted by the effect this has on your monochrome images. It just seems to increase the contrast between the blacks and the whites, and hence your mono conversion will no longer appear flat. Remember, not all colour images will convert well to mono, so you need to just experiment for yourself and see what works best. Finally, check your borders for distractions again. Thank you for sharing your images with me. Alpine Chalet Bathhouse. You have some great textures here, but they are all similar. The tonal range is good and there is excellent depth within the image. Your play of highlights is interesting and takes the eye all around the image. Well seen. And acceptance. Blackbird. You have captured the bird well, and I like your placement of the bird within the frame. The eye is clear and the feathers detailed. The branch has an interesting shape, but it seems to go in and out of the depth of field. The strong light also makes capturing the best possible image even more difficult, yet the background appears noisy for some reason. Try cropping to remove some of the problem areas. Take a little off the bottom, leaving the tail intact. Take some off the top, and then clone out that white dot near the back of the bird, and maybe the stick that goes towards the right-hand edge of the image. Re-evaluate your image and see if further improvements can be made. And acceptance. Hawley Abstract. Great textures and flowing lines. Unfortunately, my eye goes in at the bottom of the image and up around the sand curves to the darkest area and then straight out of the image. For an abstract to work well, you need areas that keep the eye engaged, areas that allow rest and many levels of interest. And acceptance. Sand lines. The line in the sand takes my eye to those exciting rocks over which the light is playing. I feel this image does not convert well to mono. The sand grains make the image look noisy. There is also one prominent line and it leads my eye to the top rocks, which is not the main focus of your image. I like your idea of the interface between sand and the sea. Keep working on it and amazing images will come. An acceptance. BG's Lane. A dynamic street scene with lots going on. The walls and roof make impressive leading lines that guide the eye through the image. The lights and darks dance our eyes all over the image. Congratulations on a well-caught moment. Highly commended. Into the Mist. This is an amazing image. Congratulations. I like the feeling of isolation the image illustrates. I think it would work even better in a panoramic aspect. The ends of the jetty are too close to the edges of the frame for it not to be distracting. Likewise, the top and bottom add little to the overall serenity and mood of the image. Please play around with the crop and see what you think. It could also do with a little lighting on some of your highlights. Highly commended. Spiky Bridge 1. This works well as a mono. The light allows us to see the textures of the rocks as we admire the skill of the builders. If I could, I would go back at different times of the day just to see how the shadows play out on the surface. It could even be more interesting. Highly commended. Tunnel of Light. I understand the need to take this picture. What a wonderful looking place. The people provide context to the image. Can you lighten the pathway and people a little? The lights getting smaller and closer give the image so much depth. Well captured. Highly commended. Urban layers. Great name. The patchwork of lines adds interest to this image. The buildings are interesting and you have a person to add life. You have chosen your composition well. Unfortunately, the sky is pixelated, usually because the original picture was taken as a JPEG or maybe due to processing. Shooting in RAW will remove this problem and give you so many other benefits. Other improvements include going around the borders of your image and removing distractions. The only ones you have are the change in thickness of the wires as they leave the left-hand upper edge of your image. An easy fix in any of your production programs. Highly commended. Muddy Creek. This is an excellent mono. Strong blacks, strong whites, and everything in between. The subject is interesting and multi-layered. If you have the information, add a little width to the canvas on the right-hand side so the edge of the boat is not that close to the edge of the image. Well taken. Merit. Old Pear. Beautiful textures, well captured. If ever there was a case for gardening before pressing the shutter, this is it. That lower leaf weakens the strong shape of your main highly textured old pear. I pull off leaves and pull out weeds as required to get the shot. I find it easier than doing it from within the computer. The key to really great images is to visualise and compose what you want before pressing the shutter release. A merit. Ready for the catch. You have planned your composition well. The lobster pots are interesting and you make the edges of the pier and a break wall lead to your subject. Your tonal range is good, but you may like to tone down the white of the boat a little. Curves or levels will work. A few distractions can be removed. If we see letters in an image, we read them. Half of the name of the boat is distracting. Clone it out. The little hook on the left-hand edge adds nothing to the image. Remove it. The aerials going out of the top of the image are okay because you can see what they are from the boats further down the pier. I think these small minor changes will really lift this already great image. Merit. Winter in Melbourne. Your composition is well selected. Excellent tones, great textures, repeating forms, interesting buildings and life. Congratulations. The only suggestion I have is for you to add a little to the bottom of your image. Just enough so that the seat close to the bottom edge will cease to be the prominent vertex that it is. I'm sure this is not where you want your viewers to look when they are admiring your work. A merit. Old Chevy. Fantastic mono. The textures are amazing. The subject matter really shines in this setting. Well found and well taken. When you're editing your images, do a border patrol as your final step. Look around all the frame edges and see if there is anything distracting that can be darkened down or removed altogether. In this image, I would dull the twig at the bottom just below the front wheel and the little white line above the side bench on the right-hand side of the image. These are little things, but they really do make a difference. Congratulations on a fine image. Honours. Storm Brewing 1. Congratulations. This mono has a very strong story and beautiful lighting. You have provided layers and layers of interest, which gives fabulous depth to your image. Please watch sharpening halos, especially along the ridge. Honours. Superbiker. Love your point of view. It makes this image. Everything about this image is perfect. The biker and rider both have room to move into. The light helps define the textures, good tonal range, and you have caught the peak of the action. Wow. Congratulations. Be a little careful not to over-sharpen. Honours.